question 7 from L10 looks at an oil well that starts to leak and the area of an oil slick increases by 8 kilometres squared per day. How long will it take for the slick to increase to 21 kilometres squared per day? Give your answer in days and hours. So I would start this by looking at the idea of the days and then the size of the oil leak. So the days would be 0 days, and then I would go through and do, say, 4 days worth of slick spread, and after 0 days there'll be 0 slick spread. After 1 day there'll be 8 square kilometres. After 2 days it'll be 16 square kilometres, and then 24, and then 32 square kilometres. So using that table, I would then use that to create y equals mx plus c equation. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is the idea that if I was going to graph this, I would do a graph like this, and you can tell that it's going to start off at this point here and it's going to increase like that in that sort of direction. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 days along here, and then here you're going to have 8, 16, 20, 24, 32, etc. So what we know here is that the y-intercept is going to be 0, so we can eliminate that as part of our linear equation. And then we're just looking at the y, in this case, which is going to be the size, s, is going to be equal to the gradient on here, which will end up becoming 8 over 1. So each one of these, it'll be 8. So it'll be 8, let's call it d for days. So the size is equal to 8d, okay? And then we can test that theory out by looking back up at here and saying, if the size is, say, 16, that equals 8 multiplied by 2, and that gives us 16, okay? So we know that that formula there will work, and now we just have to substitute in the value they gave us, which was 21. So 21 equals 8d. We then divide both sides by 8, and we end up with 21 over 8 equals d. And then we can simplify this to become 2 and 5/8 equals d. Now, interestingly at this point is that the temptation would be to turn this into a decimal, like 2.625. But what we want to do is work with the idea of hours and days, and 8 will work into 24. So if we multiply both of those by 3, we end up with 2 and 15 over 24, or 15 hours out of 24 equals d. So in other words, it'll take 2 days and 15 hours for the oil slick to spread to 21 kilometres squared.